Hello students, in a previous video we looked at the basic operations in Excel and how we can write formulas that reference values. So we worked out how we can do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication formulas by putting the equal sign first and then referencing values somewhere else in into our spreadsheet, so that if we change one of these values, such as I'm doing now, all our calculations will update. And that's fine for the four basic operations, but we need to talk about some built-in things. So if I go down here, I'm going to put one new one in today. I'm going to do the average. All right, the average. Now this is going to introduce a new idea of a built-in function. Now before I go any further, I'm going to quickly chuck a list of numbers down here. It doesn't really matter what the number's in for the moment, just need a list of numbers. So I'm going to find the average of these numbers 1 to 9. Now we should know what the average is. It's where we add up each of these values to get a total, and then we will divide it by the number of values we have. So we have 9 values here, we add them up, we get a total, and then we divide that. So let's look at a couple of built-in functions. The first one I'm going to demonstrate is actually the addition or the sum function. So let's say I want to have the total of these numbers underneath here. Now I can sit there and calculate them, or I could go equals to this number plus this number plus this number and so on until I do all of them, and I will get an accurate answer. But I want to be smarter now. I want to do this more easily. So there is a built-in function called sum, and you'll notice as I start typing, we are having functions come up. So it takes time to learn what functions are available. There are literally thousands of functions available in Excel. You will not use all of them, but we have some basic ones that are really useful. So if I choose the sum function, you can see it's finished off the word and it's put a bracket for me. And what I need to put inside this bracket are all the values that I want to add up. And again, I could do this as a list where I go 1, comma, this one, comma, this one. I'm building a list of cells to go and refer to. So I'd say whatever the value is here, whatever the value is here, whatever the value is here, and so on. I can do that. And again, it will work, but it still takes a long time. Instead, what I want to do is use what we call a range. Now, a range is whenever we highlight or go over a block of cells, they become a range. So if I was to click on this first cell here, which is A5, drag down, so I'm holding my mouse button, I'm dragging down to cover all of those, what you'll see here is I have a range being shown. It starts at A5 and it goes down to A13. So that is my range of values I want to be added or summed together. I close my bracket to always close a formula, and if I now press enter, you'll see I have an answer. The addition or the sum of the numbers 1 to 9 equals 45. Okay, so that's a really powerful and useful formula, built-in function, I should say, that people use very, very regularly in Excel, the sum formula, or the sum function, sorry. Let's work out the average ourselves. So the average, if I write it down here, average is going to be equal to the sum. So it's going to be equal to this number, right, the value that we've added up, divided by how many numbers we had. And we know we have 9, so let's put that in. So we can see our average should be the number 5. But we can do that even more quickly and more powerfully by using a built-in function for average. So if we come back up to this one that we were doing, the average has got a built-in function. So equal to average. If we have a look, there's a few varieties. We'll go with the basic average. And like before, I just need to put a range of values. Now, don't include the 45 anymore. We want to have the values 1 to 9, so that range of values. I'll close it off. And now this function is going to do both steps. It's firstly going to add up the numbers, so we'll get the value 45 in our computer's memory. Then it's going to count how many values we have in that range. So it's going to know there are 9 of them. It'll do the division, and it should give us the same answer. So when I press enter, we should see the same answer, 5, coming up. And we do. And again, this is why this is powerful, because if I was to change one of these numbers, let's say I make this the number 20, you can see my average has recalculated. Of course, it did do this down here as well, but what if I choose suddenly to have a different amount of numbers, or if I didn't do this addition or the sum function first, it wouldn't work. The average function does 3 steps for us. It does the addition or the summing, it works out how many numbers, and then it does the actual averaging. And there are literally, as I said in a previous video, I think hundreds, if not thousands, of built-in functions that could be useful for you in Excel. But there is an example of how you use a built-in function, and 2 functions that you might find very useful. Sum, which is basically addition, and the average. I'll leave this video here. We'll do another video on some specific functions for our work in statistics in Year 7 maths.